It was a quiet little town, lots of green space. There was ball fields and places for the kids to play. It seemed safe, and everything changed in one day.
It's something most of us take for granted. You turn on the tap, fill a glass of water, and have a nice refreshing drink. But what if that water has been deemed too contaminated to consume? It's something residents of the Rensselaer County village of Hoosick Falls are dealing with right now as they try to determine how best to move forward and to make their water drinkable again.
Well, tonight, the DEC answering the biggest question about chemical contamination of the public water supply in Hoosick Falls. Who's to blame? They say it is two different companies.
Says Saint-Gobain and Honeywell International are to blame. Honeywell was purchased by Allied Signal in 1999. One of their umbrella companies operated here from 1986 to 1996. And more companies could become liable. In a statement, DEC Acting Commissioner says we will hold all companies responsible for groundwater contamination and make sure they pay all costs associated with the investigation and remediation of the source of the problem, as well as assuring a usable drinking water source. Back in 2003, the EPA alerted companies to phase out the use of PFOA. I asked Kaninsky why no one told the village about the phase out in 2006 when new wells were being built less than 500 yards away from the manufacturing site.
The way that we deal with our chemicals and our materials here at our site, we didn't suspect that there was ever an issue that might get it into the water.
Saint-Gobain is a French company that traces its origins back to 1665 during the reign of King Louis XIV. It was originally a producer of glass, but later branched out to other materials. The company bought the Hoosick Falls facility in 1999. The main drinking water well for the village is located just 400 yards from the plant.
Both Saint-Gobain and the plant's prior owners used PFOA in their manufacturing for decades, although Saint-Gobain says they stopped using it more than 10 years ago.
In December, the State Health Department issued a fact sheet telling residents that, quote, health effects are not expected to occur from normal use of the water. The state said this despite its own tests that showed PFOA levels for at least 4 wells in the 600 parts per trillion, well over the EPA guideline of 400 parts.
That was a conclusion that we thought was categorically incorrect and inappropriate. And that was in December. Since that time, thankfully, the Department of Health seems to have modified its view.
We have new information now showing that the village was sending out water samples for testing back in April of 2015, and that was long before people there were told of a potential PFOA contamination.
This document, labeled confidential, was posted. It's a letter from Calgon Carbon Corporation, the same company who made the temporary water filtration system being installed in the village now. It states that on April 30th, 2015, months before people were told not to drink the water, that Hoosick Falls sent water samples to Calgon and requested Calgon Services to conduct a study in regards to the use of activated carbon to reduce PFOAs in Hoosick Falls' potable water stream.
This is the type of information that has, made us question what we're being told every day here.
The people of Hoosick Falls are growing impatient. One reason? Well, today marks 3 months since many of them gave blood for testing, and they're still waiting for the results to come in. Results that will tell them if they have a dangerous chemical in their blood, and if so, how much.
We don't have all the answers at this point. No one is pretending that we do. But we want to try and put in place something that we're very confident will in fact work. This is not a conspiracy. We are trying...
I'm just asking a simple question.
Yes, you are.
We are here to justify and make clear the need for a new water source for the town, the village, and Hoosick Falls Central Schools. This is not just a desirable solution. It is quite simply the only acceptable one.
They'll come to your house and they'll knock on your door. They'll have someone on behalf of the company knock on your door and say, I know that you're concerned about your water, we've been an inconvenience and we're very sorry, and we want to be a good neighbor. And they'll have a check in their hand and they'll ask you, they'll say, here's a check for the inconvenience we've caused you. And they call them good neighbor payments, and they'll ask you to sign something. And that signing is typically a release that would release your claims. I'm not saying, no one's told us it's happened here. I don't want to tell you it has, because it hasn't, at least no one's told us. But it has happened in other cases we've had. And it has happened with other cases we've had with someone, with a company that made responsible here. I'm not going to name out any company now, but the bottom line is if someone knocks on your door like that and wants to hand you a check in exchange for you signing something, I would advise you to talk. You can call us, which would be great because we'd like to know about it, or you can call a friend or an attorney, but just be careful before you sign anything from someone you don't know.
Always dollars over the environment, right? If you take your chemical and you dispose of it in a proper way, it costs money, it's expensive. It has to be sent to a hazardous waste facility, that costs money. If you put it down the drain, it costs nothing.
Any number of things I could have done to catch the stuff and dispose of it. If we had been told that it was toxic and we shouldn't be putting it into the air, I mean, it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Instead, Hassel explained, parts of the stacks were cleaned in the backyard.
Every Monday morning, they would take the ductwork apart and take it down and wash it next to the plant and let whatever was coming off of it just go right into the ground.
St. Gobain became the 5th owner of this plant when it bought it in 1996. The company says it doesn't know how PFOA got into the village's water supply. It's been paying for bottled water since November and has agreed to pay for a permanent fix.
Vote on $1 million settlement in the Hoosick Falls PFOA water crisis canceled tonight. Now people are up in arms.
Go ahead, run! Tim Martin, run out! The mayor immediately left the armory. Police at one point stepping in to control the crowd.
And it's really, really sad to be treated this way. It's disappointing.
The agenda stated board members were going to vote on the revised settlement, which was a $1 million deal. It would cover village expenses, consulting fees, and create a discretionary fund. It's just trash. Shred it, rip it up. And there were no plans for public comment on the agenda. This letter was even written to the mayor today, urging the board to not approve the deal.
You know, they gotta do it right. You can't push things. You can't. It's a bad situation. We went through hell. There was many nights a year ago I couldn't even sleep at night because I was worried about it.
The deal would free St. Gobain and Honeywell from any future liability.
We'll make right for the people of Hoosick Falls.